So this is a first. I have been making videos for 2.5 years dedicated to civics, but never on a Saturday. That is the Jewish Sabbath, and I have respected it and still do. In fact, this video is meant to be a high respect, an ode, if you will. I can't go to shul. They're closed. I can't guard a shul, as I have done on other Saturdays. There's nobody there to guard. So I like to reach out to all persuasions with something that I revere. And it's not religious. Well, some might say it is. It's this. The United States Constitution. And the language therein, it could have come indirectly from God. There is a religious founding to our nation. So, with some respect, not a lot, really apologies to the medieval rabbis who would call internet use the prohibited kindling of a flame on Sabbath. Real stretch, but our modern rabbis can't or won't undo it. So I am here respectfully reading about this, but I'm going to take it 6 years earlier to an even better constitution. The New Hampshire Constitution, drafted in 1784, is beautiful. And from it stems much of the words that you hear and read here in the U.S. Constitution. It's a certainty that the framers of the U.S. Constitution relied greatly on this. In this New Hampshire Constitution of 1784, the Bill of Rights actually comes first. I will read. I hope you'll follow. Article 1. All men are born equally free and independent. Therefore, all government of right originates from the people, is founded in consent, and instituted for the general good. Article 2. All men have certain natural, essential, and inherent rights, among which are enjoying and defending life and liberty, acquiring, possessing, and protecting property, and, in a word, of seeking and obtaining happiness. A further article, Article 5. Every individual has a natural and unalienable right to worship God according to the dictates of his own conscience and reason, and no subject shall be hurt, molested, or restrained in his person, liberty, or estate for worshiping God in a manner and season most agreeable to the dictates of his own conscience, or for religious profession, sentiments, or persuasion, provided he does not disturb the public peace or disturb others in their religious worship. Part of Article 6 continues, but no person shall ever be compelled to pay toward the support of the schools of any sect or denomination. And every person, denomination, or sect shall be equally under the protection of the law, and no subordination of any one sect, denomination, or persuasion to another shall ever be established. There's the no establishment clause of the First Amendment. I am reading again from the New Hampshire Constitution, 1784, a document that I revere. Here's some more. Article 9. No office or place whatsoever in government shall be hereditary. They give a reason. The abilities and integrity requisite in all not being transmissible to posterity or relations. Beautiful. It's part of the American creed that blood does not matter. Yet this was the first country that had such a creed. All prior nations' leaders were based on blood or thuggery. Those who had the most might became the rulers. Continuation. Right of revolution, it's called. Article 10. Government being instituted for the common benefit, protection, and security of the whole community, and not for the private interest or emolument of any one man, family, or class of men. Therefore, whenever the ends of government are perverted, and public liberty manifestly endangered, and all other means of redress are ineffectual, the people may, and of right ought, to reform the old or establish a new. Sounds like Jefferson. The doctrine of non-resistance against arbitrary power and oppression is, get ready, absurd, slavish, and destructive of the good and happiness of mankind. I love it. One more page from which I'd like to read. Article 37 on separation of powers. In the government of this state, the three essential powers thereof, to wit, the legislative, executive, and judicial, ought to be kept as separate from and independent of each other, and the nature of a free government will admit, or as is consistent with that chain of connection that binds the whole fabric of the Constitution in one indissoluble bond of union and unity. The framers had God on their minds. It was up in the air up until the final drafts whether a reference directly to the Bible should be incorporated in the document. Stayed out, but it makes sense that morality must play a role in governance, because all of this is based on a people that have morality. Government of the people, which this is truly pushing for, can only be done with a good people. Best measure of good that I know is God and the teachings that stem from God. Food for thought this Saturday, 1st of Iyyar, as in April 25th. Thank you for listening. I think I'll do this on some future Saturdays as well. I am Mark Stewart. Have a good weekend.